All the holes in Gardens of Babylon Easy can be hole-in-one, so here is a quick video showing how I did it and how you can too. If you like the content, please drop a like down below the video. If you've got your own routes to suggest, please leave me a comment, and if you want to stay informed of more content in the future, please do subscribe to the channel. So we start with hole number 1, which in theory is quite straightforward, but given the putt is quite a distance away, I'll give you 3 ways to tackle this one. The first, of course, is to go straight at it. Just be sure to line your putt up carefully. The second is to give yourself 1 bounce off either of the side walls. This brings your initial aiming point closer towards you, but you've got an angle to add into the mix. The third is to go for 2 bounces. You've obviously got 2 angles to factor for, but your aiming point is going to be much closer to you. For hole number 2, it's a little less straightforward, but it's quite a neat route to take. What you want to do is take a bounce. I prefer off the left side, and I aim for the edge of the 3rd stone on the left. Providing you hit that join between number 3 and number 4, your line should be on to take you to the hole. Number 3 is a neat little shot. It's easy to get to the hole area, but getting it in is difficult. As the angle is tight to end up actually in the hole as opposed to just close to it, one of the ways to expand that angle is to catch the edge of the plant pot on your left-hand side. This will cause the ball to jump up a little bit, and that deflection over to the right will widen the angles out once it starts bouncing around near the cup. The second is to play as tight to that right-hand pillar as possible, and if you hug close to it but don't touch it, you have a chance to go in the hole that way too. Number 4 may not look very elegant, but fortunately I hit this on the first attempt during filming. You want to hit just on the very edge of the first corner ahead of you. That will send the ball going round, and of course once it's bouncing around like that, it has a chance of going in the hole. Number 5 is one of the trickiest holes to hit on the course. There are a few ways to do it. The way I preferred is over to the left-hand side, bouncing off this curved edge. If you get it to jump over the little mound of soil, you can get close to the hole, and if you're really refined, you'll get it in. Number 6 is a lovely hole because there are a number of ways to get over from the tee area to the cup. The first of these is to use the big ramp that you can see. To do this, you need to rebound off the plinth in front of you and send the ball towards that ramp with enough speed that it makes a little jump over its perimeter wall. The second route is to modify the angle very slightly so that you use the smaller stone ramp next to the larger one. If you catch that at enough speed, it will just hop your ball over the ramp and towards the cup. The third route I found was actually the one that got me the hole-in-one, and that was to aim straight for the hole using the soil immediately next to the tee to launch the ball over the plant between you and the cup area. If you get your bounces right using the pillars and the plants around the hole, there's a good chance you'll end up in. There's equally a good chance you'll end up out of bounds though. Number 7 is quite straightforward and can be tackled by going straight at the hole. There are 2 reasons why I prefer not to do this though. The first is the control of pace. Coming down off that second ramp means that you're going at the cup quite fast and there's a chance you'll lip out. The other is that the aiming point is quite far away. So if instead you turn to either the right or the left and aim at the first join between the light and the dark markings on the mat, you'll get 2 bounces and hopefully come off the back ramp and into the hole. Hole number 8 is one of those near certain hole-in-ones that you're going to be looking to get in every round. Of course, you can spice things up a bit by using either the tip or the heel of your putter. If you do this and miss, it's a good idea to leave the game you're in, bury your head in shame, and wait until everyone's forgotten it happened. Hole number 9 is a very tricky hole because of the amount of height involved, and judging that ramp is not easy. To add to that, the hole-in-one routes are very tight. There are 2 ways you can get it. Either you can play for 1 bounce going off the left-hand side and up into the hole as you see here. There is another way to do it, which is to zigzag off each of the side walls. That will also take you into the hole, but I struggle to hit that in filming. Hole number 10 also has a number of routes available to you. The first of these is to play reasonably straightforward, catching the left edge of that 45-degree angle in front of you. If you do that and catch the wall next to it, judging the pace right up the ramp, you can end up close to or into the hole. The other is taking a more direct route, and if you go over that stone edge, your ball will chip up. Providing you don't catch a bounce that sends you out of bounds, you can get the hole-in-one this way as well. Hole number 11 is a very tricky layout, but it's one of those that it becomes much easier when you know how to tackle it. The route for the hole-in-one is a fairly safe route to get you into the cup area too. What you want to do for this one is aim towards the left corner ahead of you and catch the end of the wall just before that 45-degree angle piece. With enough pace and the right angle, this will send your ball bouncing into and around that tricky plus-shaped obstacle in the middle of the hole, and hopefully you'll find your way into the cup. Hole number 12 is a tricky one because you've got to take a lot of bounces to get all the way to the cup, and of course with no back on these holes, judging your weight is critical. I found the best route to be aiming just here left off the tee and catching enough bounces to send it round towards the hole, and if you're lucky it will go in. Hole number 13 is, in theory, a fairly straightforward shot, but there are a few things that can go wrong. One is that you can leave the putt short, meaning you've got no chance of getting into the hole. The second is that if you misjudge your bounces, you may find yourself going over that back wall. And the third is that if you carry too much pace towards the hole and don't go in, there's no back on this green either. Get it right and you may find the ball will just topple in. Number 14 is a tricky one to hit and is probably one of the hardest in the course. One of the mistakes most people make is to hit this one far too hard. If you aim for that pillar on the left hand side but play it at a dead weight to reach the hole, what you're aiming to do is use the edges of those drops down into the water to realign your ball towards the grate, and then once you get there, it's sloped downhill towards the hole and it will do the work for you. A lot easier said than done, but know that you don't need to hit this one too hard. 15 is some much easier welcome relief. This is straightforward, all you need to do is time it. For this I would suggest that you really line up your shot first, be certain of the line that you're aiming to hit, and then just wait. The screw gives you plenty of time to hit the gap, so just be patient, stick with your linings, and hit your shot. "16 is again quite straightforward, but it's a real bravery shot. To make the jump over the grate covering the water, you need to give the ball enough pace that you're then risking going out of bounds at the back. Of course you can take a safety shot by playing to the left hand side, but if you want to get the hole in one, you've got to be positive, take your risk and attack it straight on. Apologies for the fairly ungraceful way of hitting number 17. I got it on the very first try and just had to film that one. You can and should hit it far softer than I do here, but really it's a case of getting the ball on the right line and letting the course direct it towards the hole. Providing you get your first angle right, the course is going to steer the ball towards the cup. So it's a good one to practice, and as long as your weight is right, you've got a great chance of going in. Number 18 is a brilliantly designed hole and a fantastic way to end the round. If you hit the top of the fountain, you get a 1. If you hit the second tier, you get a 2. If you hit the third tier, you get a 3. And of course, you can go out of bounds. Another one, if you really want to, that you can show off on. If you're going to miss the hole in one, I'd suggest aiming to miss it short. That way you've got a chance of potentially going in the 2 or the 3. So that's all 18 holes hole in one. As is tradition, here are a handful of outtakes and near misses. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please do like the video, subscribe if you want to see the future content, and drop me a comment if you've got any other suggestions to make.